Hey, welcome everybody to the 10-year celebration of Grace Community, The Miracle. Let's give it up. So Drew, we probably want to start out where you can share some words of appreciation to all the work that I've done, and it was really hard to put these lights up and signs and everything. Are you on? Hello, there we go. Hey everybody! Happy 10 year. Man, yes. Brother Dale, you have done. Well, actually, we both know that I was kidding. So, hey, who do we want to thank?
I do want to thank a lot of people. Okay, first of all, there's been a lot of work that has gone into just this awesome celebration, and I can't name everybody who's been a part of this and a part of helping, but there are just a few people that I want to thank. Starters, Jennifer Probus and Jennifer Smith, who just kind of headed up all the decorations, and man, is it beautiful, right?
You have some comments you'd like to make? Awesome.
And a lot of people, Sharon, like Miss Sharon, she head up all the food, and we really appreciate that, Sharon. And, the praise team, the band back here, guys, they helped put the stage together, and they helped with everything that you see up here. And I especially want to thank Mr. Darren Stribling over there. He's going to get mad at me for this. Darren actually put a lot of time into all of this, making this possible, and also recording a CD of all of us. And he just put a lot of time into that, and we just really appreciate having Darren around.
All right, let me mention to you that tonight after the service, there are CDs in the back. And what we did was we put together the best sermons of 2012, Brother Dale Finley. And those are available this evening. No, just kidding about that. Our praise team put together some songs, and you can get those. If you need to get them free, that's awesome. And but if you can make a contribution, and that'll go to our music stuff, that'd be great. That's on the table. You can do that right after the service. We have people standing. We've got some teenagers down here. If you're a teenager or if you're young, you can do this. You can sit on the floor. It's awesome. You can give your seat up to someone else. Just if you can't, it's okay. So we put a bunch of chairs in here, and we're just honored that you're here. Let me say to you tonight, we are a Grace Community. We are blessed in a lot of ways. And one of the main ways is that we have the greatest worship leader in America, and Drew Glover. And I want you to know, and he's gonna say, how did you know this? Well, I have my ways. The first song we're doing tonight, he wrote himself. And so we do that song, You Rock with it, okay? Let's pray together, okay? Father, we invite you to be with us tonight, and just thank you that you are. And we just want to celebrate tonight your goodness and your grace in our lives. And I thank you for that. In Christ's name, amen.
Yeah, what is your goodness?
We are here to shine your light, show the world.
He's not mad at you, and he's not disappointed. His grace is greater still than all of your wrong choices. 'Cause he's full of mercy, and he's ever kind. Hear his invitation, his arms open wide. It's louder than a voice. It whispers you're unafraid. Hear the sound of love. It tells a different story, shattering your darkness, pushing through the lies. Man, it's awesome to be here tonight. It's awesome to be a part of this place. I want to share something with you real quick, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I didn't do a video. I'm just going to share with you for just a second. This is my home, and there's a time in my life that my wife and I just went through the worst month. And I'm going to do my best to get through this, not looking like Brother Doe. And I'll tell you why I love being at Grace Community. My pastor came to me after we just went through straight up hell on earth. He came to me and he said, I don't want you to show up to this church for a month. And me, I was like, man, I got to do something. But he said, no, I don't want you to show up. I want you and your wife to just go and be and heal. And we did. And you guys carried this burden with us. And I just want you to know how honored and how much of a blessing it is to call you guys my church family. So that's all I'm going to say. There's a time in my life. There's a time in my life where the only thing that kept me walking was the love that you guys showed me and my family. Only thing that kept me walking. Only thing. And I know that there's a lot of you out there that are in the same boat. Maybe the only thing that brought you here tonight was that little bit of love that you maybe got from a text message from Brother Dylan. But I'll tell you what, love does hold us together. And I believe that wholeheartedly, and that's why I love worshiping this song. So y'all stand and worship with us.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name's Larry Helms, and this is my wife, Tanya. See, what does the program say? Welcome. Dale, you stole my welcome. You already welcomed everybody. No, just kidding. We got 3 parts up here tonight. We're gonna do a real quick. Like I said, I'll just welcome you guys. I greet everyone at the door. Sunday morning, you see Tanya at the desk. We kind of head up the welcome team there at Grace. And as I share my story, I'll just tell you how it came to be that we're part of the welcome team. And Tanya, jump in at any point, okay? If you guys saw the video, she's really good to correct me, and I kind of forget things. So, but anyway, and another thing I've learned in my journey at Grace, and I thank Dell and I thank so many of my friends, is that I think I did share the first year. We've been at Grace 9 years, correct? And Tanya and Dell asked me to get up and share. Well, I looked at in my Bible tonight, and I had everything word for word. I had like 2 pages of stuff. This is the program guide, and I'm sharing from my heart. So that's how I've grown in my walk with my friends here at Grace and with God, my relationship with Tanya, and just the way I want to share in relationships and be available to God. So anyway, we head up the welcome team. You see us on Sunday morning. We just want to provide an atmosphere of smiles, and a lot of times people come in, they're down, and just share the love, a smile, a hug, a hello, call my name. So I love doing that. Tanya has helped out. You've seen her with the shirts and every role. We try to make the visitors feel welcome and get information. So we're part of the welcome team. Is there anything you want to say before we get into our testimony? Okay. Now we're going to turn. We're going to share basically our story, our journey at Grace. We've been there 9 years. We have 6 children. They run from 27 to 9. And we have been tremendously blessed by our friendships at Grace. I can go into a lot of detail, and you tell me when you want to bring what you want to share in. So, because, go ahead.
I'll just start, because I don't like to talk, so I'll get my number with. I remember about 9 years ago sitting on the front porch at Brother Dale's house when they were in the old parsonage there by First Baptist, and we built our friendship with Dale and Peggy more after they left First Baptist. And he sat across from me one day, and he's like, Tanya, he said, we're wanting to start a church, or kind of journey, we didn't really call it a church, in our home. He said, well, no, you and Larry will be a part of it. And I was like, that sounds great, and I love you, and I'd love to, but y'all don't have any programs, and I need stuff for my kids, and so, not right now. So we carried on our little journey of going back to the church I grew up in, and we were there, I want to say 6 months to a year, and Larry started going to a Wednesday night group, a men's group that Brother Bill had, and my husband was coming home a different man on Wednesday nights, and I was like, whoa, what is going on here? So anyway, we got up enough nerve to try a Sunday morning out in the middle school, and I remember walking in the door thinking, ew, I know all these people and everything they've done, and this aren't very nice people. And in that, I was like, woo! Breath pressure. But no, I got to know these people, and through Grace, just to keep it simple, I have learned to love people, I have learned to love Jesus, I have had my eyes open to so many things, experience Grace in so many ways, and I'm just forever grateful for Dale and Peggy Medlin and how they've ministered to me and my husband and our kids in just every aspect of our life, and I cannot wait to get up and come to church every Sunday morning because I love it. This is my home.
And I would second that. We've grown tremendously. And as she mentioned, my journey was meeting with the guys on Wednesday night, and I've developed deep friendships. These are like family to me, these guys. and we journeyed, and I kind of look at it like we've been at Grace 9 years, but I look at it seasons, and we've had different seasons where we've had friends come in and out. But I can tell you, my story is I was a private guy. I didn't, Tanya's real relational. I was opposite. Well, I've come to learn that I'm kind of hiding behind the private guy. I like to live in my own little world. But through grace and my friendships, and you heard words this morning. Grace is about counseling and healing and loving each other. And the power in that has changed my life tremendously, where I now communicate. I have friendships. I long for friendships now. And getting up here and doing this was something, I would have never done. So it's changed me tremendously. And Dale, your friendship, and many guys, I can just tell you, I met you, Dale, before I started attending First Baptist, and I just share this because you mean the world to me, and our friendship, and our friendships changed over the years. There was one fall morning, I was between marriages, and I think I was out there by myself, and life is tough, as it is for everyone. And I tried a couple of churches, and just wasn't finding anything. And Dale Midland comes up to me on the streets of Cabot and talks to me. I knew who he was. He didn't know me from a man to the moon. But that struck our friendship, and when we had the discussion, I could tell you cared, and ever since you cared. And I just thank you so much for being my friend. And I had lost my dad at 25, and then I thought, hey, Dale's kind of like a father. He could be like a father to me. I'm not hurting your feelings, Dale, because we're only about 12 years apart, maybe 13. But in my life, I looked at it like that. But then as we became friends and we shared life and grace, he's my pastor, but now you're just my best friend. You're one of my dear friends. So anyway, I thank you for that. I thank our family, as Tanya said, we love to come to Grace. And I can tell you,
And my kids haven't been wounded at all by not having any programs. They've actually turned out better.
is they have, they're perfect kids. No. But we absolutely just cherish our Grace family. And like I said, it's a season in life. I've looked at other opportunities, and one of the things about moving off, I can't imagine leaving Grace. Luckily, they haven't opened up, and that's okay with me. But I didn't realize it's a special season in my life, in our lives, and greatly thankful for that. So anyway, just want to share a little bit about our testimony. And then also, if you guys, anybody who wants to help out on Sunday morning, shake a hand or smile, just see me and Tanya, okay? All right, guys. Anything else, Tanya, you want to share? Okay. Hey, guys, this is the next step that we want done. There is a information card in each of your chairs and a pencil, and it says "Getting to know each other one heart at a time." And if you would, don't feel pressure to fill this out. But this is just.
No, everyone needs to fill one out. Fill it out and pass it to the side during the next song, and someone will come by to collect them. He rambles, so we will wrap that.
All right, guys, let me re-clarify. Everyone must fill out this card and pass it down, okay? All right, guys, who's next?
You going first?
It's recording.
I don't care.
Okay.
Y'all nervous now?
Yes.
I'm Bobby Thompson. This is my wife Kim. We've been going to Grace for 7 years now. And I believe it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to us. We don't have to put on a face. I grew up in the church, and everything was performance driven. Do this, do that, you'll receive the grace of God. Not true. And you can come here and be yourself and be broken, just like everybody else is. And it's great for our kids. I'm glad we go here.
I love our church. I'm Kim Thompson, and been friends with you, Brother Dale. I'm not supposed to talk about you, but been friends with you for a very long time. But I didn't really get to know this place until 7 years ago. We tried many, many places, and I look at it a little bit like the Wizard of Oz. The teacher is about to come out, but I always played the wizard, where you hid behind the curtain and you tried to seem like you were this perfect person, and no, when the curtain opens, it's just a big broken ragamuffin. So now that I've found grace, and we found grace, and our family's found grace, it's more like Dorothy. I feel like I'm home.
That's right. Click your heels.
Click, click, click.
Yeah, I'm just going to speak from my heart. But don't stand over there. You got to stand over there.
Alright, and then it's recording, and I go, and you guys just talk to me.
Okay. Hi, we're Bill and Linda Carter, and I guess it was about 9 years ago. My wife said to me, "Let's go to Grace Community Church," and she explained to me who the pastor was and where he was from, and what had happened in his life. And I said to her that I would never go to that man's church. Anyways, shortly thereafter, Linda started going without me, and she took the girls, and it wasn't too far behind. I started going with her. And as with any couple, we've had our ups and we've had our downs, and don't know, it was probably about 6 years ago, he went to Brother Dale and said, help. We need help. I needed help, Linda needed help, we needed help as a team. And we met with Brother Dale and spoke to Brother Dale together. We spoke to Brother Dale separately. And about 5.5 years ago, I met my best friend, Linda. And a lot of help from Brother Dale, a lot of help from my wife. Grace Community has done so much for both of us. Both of us as people. It has definitely changed my heart and who I am today.
Grace has been a big part of our life, not only our life, but our family's life. Again, we've been going here about 9 years. I went a couple of times in the house that Brother Dale and Peggy were in, and of course, coming from a Catholic background, that was a little strange for me. But as Bill said, this has been a journey for the whole family. It's been a journey for him and I. And without the support and love of the people of Grace, and of course Brother Dale, we might not be where we are today.
We wouldn't be where we're at today. So.
Hello, I'm Luke Crumbly. This is my wife, Candy Crumbly. We've been members of Grace Community Church for the past 5.5 years. We actually got to spend the 5-year anniversary here. We were only about 6 months in at that point. We've always been in church. My dad is a preacher. Candy grew up in the church as well. And we've been married for 17 years, but we've never found a church home. We bounced from one church to another. We go to a Nazarene church for a while, we go to a Methodist church for a while, Baptist church for a while, and never really found a church home. Then about 5.5 years ago, we went through some tough times as a family, and Grace Community Church stepped up. Stepped up. Always been in church. My dad is a preacher. Candy grew up in the church as well. We've been married for 17 years, but we've never found a church home. We bounced from one church to another. We go to a Nazarene church for a while, we go to a Methodist church for a while, Baptist church for a while, and never really found a church home. Then about 5.5 years ago, we went through some tough times as a family, and Grace Community Church stepped up.
Hey guys, we're the Starkeys. Pretty neat there. You can just start and stop anywhere you want to and come to Grace. Kind of neat the way it works out. I'm not sure how long we've been at Grace. It seemed like a real long time, but we're sure glad to be here.
David says I'm a good starter, so he's going to let me start first. I'm kind of surprised sometimes when Brother Dale has us want to come up here, because he knows me enough and he don't know what I'm going to say. And I'll be honest with you, coming here, I didn't know what I was going to say either. My mind was blank. I didn't have anything, and I told Patty that I don't know what to say. My mind's blank. But as we worshiped and as God started talking, what Grace did with Brother Dale and Miss Peggy saved me and saved my marriage. And when God laid it on my heart to say. I thought, do I want to say that? And then Tanya got up here and said what she did. And I thought, well, shoot, I can say whatever I want to. I mean, gee. And it didn't. What everybody told you about the treadmill, man, you're doing it. Every one of you out there, you're doing it. Because I know some of y'all doing it because I used to go to church with you. And man, I was running. I was on that treadmill. And I was doing this Sunday morning, that Sunday night, and that week carrying that children, and that Wednesday night, and that no. It was killing me. Because I didn't have time for God in all of that. None. I didn't have time for Him. I was too busy working for Him to know Him. And Brother Dale, we connected back again, us and David, and we started visiting. And he said, you guys need grace. And he was right. We did. I can't tell you what the church has done for us, because the church is the people in the church. And when I have Universe ask me, how you doing? She's asking me how am I doing. She's not asking me as we're meeting in the hallway so we can go to our next treadmill. She's telling me because she wants to know how I'm doing. And if I want to say it, man, it's a lousy day today. It's okay. Because of grace, we're a lot of sinners, and we know we're sinners, but we are saved by the grace of God. And we're all trying to get to the same place, and we're all helping each other get there. And I thank God for Brother Dale, for Miss Peggy. Brother Dale's been my pastor for a lot of years. Peggy has been my pastor's wife for the same amount of years. But Brother Dale Medlin, Miss Peggy are my mentors. They're my pastor and his wife. But most or more, they are my friends, and I love them dearly. And I love my church called Grace.
Well, guys, I didn't really know what I was going to say either. I do know this. I know you find what you go looking for in life, and I want to find a good place. When I'm going to spend time there, I want to find a good place. And I was in Western Kentucky this morning with some guys, been on a hunting trip, and wanted to be here. There was a guy that told me, he said, well, today I would have celebrated, or he told me yesterday, he said, I would celebrate my 17th year anniversary if I hadn't gotten a divorce about 3 months ago. I thought, wow, it could have been me. And it could still today. I don't take that for granted. I always wanted to be a friend to a pastor because I just felt like they were real people. They had the same real stuff in their life that I did. And, Luke 6:38 says, given it should be given to you. And so all I want to do is be a friend. And that in itself is a chore sometimes. But what I found was many friends. And I look across here, we've been in Cabot at least 15 years. Our boys have grown up. And from Jerry Jones giving me an opportunity to work with him on a house, and I won't call a lot of names, but so many people have been so kind to us and opened their hearts and lives. And that's what Grace has done to help us be real. And that's what we're still learning today, is to be real. And enjoy this journey that God's given us instead of performing this journey. So we love you guys. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for our church, for our friends.
I find it funny that the video stopped on Luke Crumley. Those of you who know Luke will find that funny too. No, but Luke and Candy and their family are great, and I'm really sorry that video did stop, because they have an outstanding story and they're outstanding people. And if you don't know them, you should do yourself a favor and get to know them. And so, but it is funny that they stopped on you, Luke. Oh, man. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Hey, guys, let's pray. We're going to just have a time of worship. Father, thank you so much for this evening. Lord, thank you for, God, how you're using a place called Grace just to share the gospel, share the good news, and share grace with this world. God, we love you, and we know that the only reason we're here is because of you. You have just reigned in the life of Grace Community. And God, we are so humbled just to be a part of it. We love you, and now as we just worship your name, we just lift you high above all else. And it's in your name. Amen.
Darkness
I'm Mike, this is Debbie. Our story started here at Grace almost 10 years ago. And it was a really, really bad time. And our first experience at Grace was at an Easter sunrise service at Magnus Creek. And some friends of ours asked us to go, and that's how we got introduced to Grace. There's probably 30 people coming here then. And then it just kind of grew from there. But we found out that we had to be surrounded by people that were Christians just for support. And over the last, almost 10 years, the group of Christians has grown and grown and grown and grown. And we all offer each other support. It doesn't matter what your story is, what you've done, or anything else. We're just here to love on people, and we've discovered God's grace. So I think what grace is to us is it's home. It's home. Anyway, but I think that's all we have to say about it, right?
Grace is home. And it's just such a good church and so many great people. And it just feels like home. That's really what we talked about coming up here. And we have a stronger marriage because of it. And we've made so many good friends. And Brother Bill and Peggy mean so much to us. Agree?
I agree. It's just home. I can't think of anything. I have nothing now.
My name is Tim Walker, and this is what Grace Community Church means to me. Really, at first glance, when you come to Grace, it looks like every other church that there's ever been. You walk in, there's singing, there's preaching, there's praying, communion, Lord's Supper, all those things. But to me, what makes it unique, different, special is really what is found in that name, Grace. I was a minister for 12 years. I taught grace. I preached grace. I thought I lived grace. But when grace was really needed in my life, it's only through Grace Community Church that I actually discovered what real grace was all about. You see, I grew up doing all the right things. I lived a relatively easy life for the first 38 years, did the right things. I got married, went to school, got a degree, got a master's degree, and I was a pastor for 12 years. Had kids, all those things that say you're doing the right things. And from the outside looking into my life, everything looked great, everything looked fine. But then, at the age of 38, life fell apart. And when that happened, I had nowhere to turn. I was going through a divorce, still pastoring, a couple of kids, and really didn't know what to even do. My wife and I were separated at the time. My kids would leave on Thursday and go with her. Thursday and Sunday, I would just sit around the house and cry. But by Sunday morning, I was putting on that positive, happy face to go preach again at church. Well, the divorce happened. And at that point, I felt completely abandoned by everyone everywhere. And everything that I had been told or taught in my life about faith, Christianity, grace, and love seemed to be gone. That's when Grace Community Church entered my life. Brother Dad. The phone call I made to him was a life-changing phone call. And for the first time in my life, I began to understand what grace was. It didn't matter who I was, where I came from, how successful I was, or how unsuccessful I was. That Jesus was going to love me just exactly as I was. With all my imperfections, with all my successes, everything all together there in one place. And it's only through those experiences, and when I come here, I feel that I'm truly accepted by a community that doesn't try to be a perfect community. It doesn't even try to look like it is a perfect community, but accepts people just as they are. And I started in 2007, and honestly, I've tried to leave Grace a few times, but it draws me back because anywhere else I go, it's just the same warmed-up version of Christianity, but Grace is different. It has that underlying of what real grace is all about. It's not something that's just taught, but it's also lived out. through the lives of our people, through our pastor. Of course, Grace was founded through the crisis in the life of our pastor's family. And I think that's what makes Grace unique. And that's why Grace is a place for me.
Well, been going to Grace for, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years, 8 years, I guess. Before that, we were kind of like mired in church rhetoric, doing this and that, and on just about everything, every kind of, committee or whatever.
This is where I'm going to stop you.
Oh, okay.
I'm Carolyn Siegfried.
Oh, I'm Greg Siegfried.
That might be a good place to start.
There we go.
And yes, we have been coming to Grace for about 8 years now. It would be fair to say we were totally different people then. Grace has played such a huge part in our growth and our journey, and I can't express enough what it has meant to us. What do you have to say? Go ahead.
You're not going to interrupt. Okay. Basically, well, Grace is just, it's an awesome place. It's a place where you can feel not threatened, not intimidated as far as having to perform or do anything. Even if you mess up, you're still going to be loved here, and we're all a bunch of screw-ups, and I just, I love every one of you guys, and that's why I love to go here. And it's just been, like Carolyn said, it's been definitely the part of our journey has been so much broadened, and we found out so much more about ourselves and the different, things we've done here at Grace, and met the different people and shared our experiences and our story with everybody, and it's home to me. I feel very welcome here and just very loved here. You want to add anything on that?
Well, like I said before, I was thinking of an old movie. I think it was it Ted's Most Excellent Adventure? Or Journey, what is it called?
Yes, something like that. Bill and Ted's.
Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure. And that's really kind of been what it's been, at least for me. It's been this type of adventure, this type of journey. And I wouldn't say that I've always felt my life was an adventure, but now I do, and it's an exciting adventure. And Grace has played such a big part in making that happen for us. And it's just been awesome.
Great.
Most of you this evening have had some type of contact with Grace Community. And what Grace Community is about, very simply, is getting involved in the stories of people and helping them find Christ in the midst of that story. And one of the things that we do is we have trouble applying the message of Jesus to the darker parts of our stories. Once we bring His light to our darkness, all of a sudden things begin to change. And one of the incredible things over these last 10 years has been to see people's lives really change. Not just start going to church or get more involved or rededicate, but their life really change. The couple standing beside me this evening, I could not be more proud of. I love these people, and I love Mike particularly because I get to tell him how stupid he is so very often, and what a blessing that is to me. And these guys have been to hell and back several times, but tonight they are walking with Jesus and living in His love. And and I'm going to let them share their story.
Thanks, Brother Dale. I'm Mike Grills, my wife Vanessa Grill. I'm stuck already. You know, my wife said to me today, she said, aren't you going to get prepared for the speech? And I'm like looking at her and said, prepared for the speech? I've been playing Xbox all weekend. Are you kidding me? So basically, Brother Dale spoke on the Samaritan this morning. Those of you who know it, I can't preach on what he said, but I will tell you this. My wife and I, in a nutshell, was the guy or the woman laying in that ditch with a needle in her arm 5 months ago. Engulfed with drugs that I could have never imagined of using ever in my life. And drug addiction has always been a part of our lives, alcoholism. But it has never been to the point where we were at the gates of hell, and that's where we were at. I met my wife down in Florida. I'm from here, for those of you who don't know. I did graduate here and play football, but I moved away and joined the service, and I ended up down in Orlando. And for myself, I also went down there to get sober and clean. At that point in time, I was 23, 24 years old, and I was a heroin addict and an alcoholic. And I got clean, and then I met my beautiful wife here, and after about a year and a half, 2 years of being clean, and she too had her battles and addictions too. We got married, and for about 10 years, we were able to stay sober. We had son Ian, my son David down there. And about 5 years ago or 4 years ago, we started going some financial problems that made me end up having to move my family back home. And this is where I grew up at. I grew up in Ward. And I came here first and just was driving through, and I saw this church called Grace. And I walked in, I think one evening or one afternoon, or no, it wasn't. I walked in the morning, and I saw Tanya Helms, Tanya Westlake, and it just, I said, wow, this is crazy. I've been gone from this area for 20 years. But I still struggled with alcoholism at that point in time. I wasn't doing any drugs. I ended up getting hurt in a four-wheeler accident and got introduced to pain medicines, and that spiraled my addiction out of control. And along my wife came along with me during that too. In the midst of all that, I didn't know how bad it was out of control. I was, until one night we were dropping off some stuff over at Drew's house for the boys. We had been using, we'd been drinking, and we got pulled over, and I got arrested in front of Drew Glover's house. And Drew said that I was a little tyrant there with the cops and whatnot, and they ended up taking me to jail. And my wife had gone home, and DHS came in and took our boys. And when I heard that, when I was in jail, I can just imagine what pain they were going through during that time. I got out of jail, went home with my wife, and I said, I don't know what else to do. And instead of turning to Grace Community Church, we ran from it. I ran from it, and we basically got hooked on methamphetamine, drugs, and heroin, and anything that you can imagine. And for the past year, we've been in and out of rehab 2 to 3 times. I've been in and out of jail. I went to jail for Lonoke County for about 2 months. I come out of there. We finally get to a point where we're separated from each other. I'm in a rehab, and she's in a chem-free facility. And as you guys know who go to Grace Community Church, we came and celebrated the fact that we had a certain amount of time underneath our belts. And it was a great celebration, and I really did want to stay clean and sober, but I guess I wasn't done, and neither was my wife. And we went out this one last time, and we became homeless, living out of a car that wasn't ours. You can consider it maybe stolen, but it wasn't ours. Didn't have no money, and we didn't have no drugs. And all we had was a Home Depot gift card that I was able to hustle on the street. And we pulled in from Little Rock. We drove from Little Rock. I said, let's go back to Cabot. And we drove back to Home Depot there, trying to get some money for that Home Depot card so we could get a hotel or get cleaned up or whatever. My wife got out and started trying to sell this card, and we ran across this gentleman, and can you tell that story?
We had been off of drugs for like 2 days. We didn't have anywhere to go. And God placed a man in our life that was a pastor of another church. And he was able to provide shelter and food. And he just said we could stay there as long as we needed, just as long as we were ready to get our lives back on track. It was just the first time somebody had looked, when I heard your story this morning, there were so many people that passed us by when we were out there that wouldn't even look in our eyes. And this was after we had stopped using drugs. You know, people would not look at us, they would not make eye contact with us. This was the first person that looked beyond what I was asking him for to a need and gave us a place, a fresh start, a fresh beginning. And from there, it just humbled me enough that I could actually call Brother Dale. And Brother Dale came, and we met him that first week, and he bought groceries for us. And we started meeting with him, I think, regularly from the beginning. But from there, we were able to start coming to Grace every week. And that first time we walked back in the doors was amazing. It was unbelievable because, you know, we had just stood on the stage and praised and worshiped that we had 90 or 120 days. And then everybody was, you know, rooting us on, ready for our family to be reunited. And we fell. We fell. And it was very hard to stand there and say that this is what had happened. But I think from that point on, we understood what it meant to open our hearts to other people, to let people into our lives. From the day we came, I never had a day go by that somebody from Grace didn't call and check on us, see how we were doing. Guys have become family. It is. And one thing I want to say more than anything about Grace Community is you were my family for my kids when I wasn't.
We just want to thank everyone here. Our boys, Drew Glover, I mean, they didn't know where to go, they didn't know where to turn, and you took them in, they kept coming to church, and you know, all I can say is right now that I've never been this broken in my life. I told Brother Dale one time, I'm just going to say this. I told Brother Dale, we sat down, we talked and everything. He looked at me and I said, you know what? I think I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. And he goes, you know, Mike, I don't know if I can do too much with that. You'll have to go get some medical. But I had to break that up. I mean, that's just what drugs have done to me. But since then, this is what we've got. We don't have custody of our children, but what we do have is visitation. In the past 5 months that we've been coming back to Grace, Grace has blessed us so much. We moved from that little camper trailer that pastor set us in into a camper, ended up getting a job, 2 cars come along, I mean, blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing. And Grace Community Church has been a part of that. And we just want to thank you so much for everything that you do.
Be seated. I tell you what, guys, I want you to understand. When I was meeting with them, one thing I told them, I said, you know, my job is to get y'all off of a performance treadmill because they have been trying to do it right all their life. Even their Christian faith was not a faith to rest in the Lord. It was just one more place of pressure. And these guys have been drug-free for about 4 or 5 months now, and we're hopeful that in the very near future they're going to get their kids. So, folks, if you don't know anything about Grace Community, this is Grace Community right here. Take it. I want you to bring it up here. I want you to come up here with me. While she's coming, I want to ask the folks that we started Grace Community in our living room, and of people that have indicated that they would be interested in doing something like that. So if you're still around and you were there when we started in my living room, just a vision to see what would happen with some broken down folks, I'd love for you to stand, and I'd love for me to at least say thanks, and for other people that are here to say thank you. There's still some people. Well, you know, life's been a heck of a journey for us, and we have experienced all different kind of things. 10 years ago, we began a journey to serve Christ out of failure and out of brokenness, where people would know of our greatest failure and of my greatest failure, and the journey, and just to see if God could use that brokenness. And it's been absolutely amazing the number of people who have over the years turned and asked for help from broken down people. And one of the things I've learned about the gospel is not, it is not successful, smart people who have learned how to get it together, and they share their wisdom, and somebody else learns how to get together, and here we go. The gospel is broken down people who are failures, who have all kind of stuff, resting in the arms of a loving God who loves us just because He does. That is the gospel, and that's a whole different kind of message. And I want to take this opportunity to say, and you parents excuse me, but this woman standing next to my side here, she is a hell of a woman. I want you to know that. And I'm not going to speak. I'm going to do something that I have waited for 10 years to do, for waiting for just the right moment to do it. So I want to ask 3 people that are going to really be surprised that I'm asking them to come up here tonight. I'm going to ask A.T. McConnell, Dick King, and Dave Winger if they will come up on the platform. Mr. McConnell, somebody, Mike, help him around there. And Dick and Dave. I know many of you here this evening are very successful people, and your whole life has been filled with success. But maybe there's a few people that can relate to me. There was a time when my life was headed nowhere, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I had absolutely no hope in my life, and every day I would wake up, and just to be able to get through another day. A.T., if you'll come stand over here, and Dick and Dave, if you'll stand over there. Okay? We'll separate you here. And tonight we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Grace Community. And if you want to know, where did Grace Community really begin? I want you to know that I was a broken down sinner, absolute failure in life, and didn't know what was going to happen. I did not know. And every day I would wake up and feel this absolute sense of hopelessness in my life, and just did not know what I was going to do. It was dark, it was dreary, it was despairing. I cannot describe to you the darkness of those days. And so one day, I was out mowing my lawn, and I had this little John Deere little tractor that I was on, and I had my ball cap turned down, I had sunglasses on, I had the collar of my golf shirt turned up, I was hunched over the steering wheel. Everything about me said, "Leave me alone." And so all of a sudden, this pickup truck pulls up into my yard, and I'm going, "Can't you read my body language?" And this gentleman right here, who I at that time had never met, got out of his pickup truck and walked over to me. And I turned the mower off, and I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "I am A.T. McConnell. I live a few blocks from your church. Don't go to your church. But I've come by tonight, or today, to apologize to you." I don't even know, A.T., if you even remember this or not. But he said, "I came to apologize to you." And I went, man, this guy's in worse shape than I thought he was. And he said to me, he said, "You know, that had to be a pretty tough job. And I didn't pray for you like I should. And I want to tell you how sorry I am and apologize to you." Well, what do you do with that when you're sitting on a John Deere riding lawnmower? And I said, "Well, thank you for that, I appreciate it." And then he said to me, "I have a couple of guys I would like for you to call and talk to." And my attitude did not reflect the love of Jesus at that time. And because I was getting all these calls from preachers and others saying, "If there's anything I can do for you to help, let me know." And so I was not in the mood. And I said, "Well, Mr. McConnell, I appreciate that, but I ain't calling no one. If they want to call me, they can." And he left. Well, miracle of miracles, these two guys are the two guys he was talking about. And he had talked to them about me calling them, and he came back and said to them, "He's not going to call you." And so they called me. "Mr. McConnell, I want to give you a gift." And this morning I preached about the Good Samaritan. And I don't know, Mr. McConnell is one of the quietest, most humble men you will ever meet in your whole life. But this gentleman right here started the process that led to what we are experiencing tonight, called Grace Community. This is one of my Good Samaritans. God bless you. This is just a little devotional called Jesus is Calling, and it's about living in God's love. And Mr. Connolly, you're one, as I said, one of the quietest, most humble men I have ever met. But my wife and I will always be eternally grateful for you introducing us to these two knuckleheads to my right. So God bless you and thank you. So let me stay right here, and I want to turn to these two guys. Many of you have seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And in that movie, Jimmy Stewart has an angel that comes in his life. And that angel is a bumbling guy named Clarence. Well, in God's love and His mercy toward Dale Benton, He sent to me 2 Clarences. That called me and said they wanted to meet with me, and I began to meet with them. And they began to share with me about what it meant to follow Jesus out of brokenness, out of realness, out of looking at your own self and your own darkness, but more than anything else, to serve Christ with a broken heart. And they began to say things to me that absolutely revolutionized my life. And I can say tonight, Grace Community is built upon the things that these 2 men have discussed with me. And so for almost 11 years, every Tuesday morning, you will find me having coffee with these 2 guys, and they're usually doing 1 or 2 things. They're either putting their arm around my shoulder and encouraging me, or kicking me in the rear over something stupid that I had done, and helping me to see how stupid that I was. So this evening, I want to make a special presentation, because in that movie, if you'll remember, Clarence is trying to get his wings. And you remember it says that every time there's a bell, an angel gets his wings. And Dick and Dave, I know that you've helped a lot of people along the way, but I want you to know that you 2 guys, these 2 guys right here, they were the only 2 people that came to me and said, Dale, we feel led to help rebuild and restore your life. So tonight, I want to present to you, go ahead and open it up and hand it to them. Tonight, you have officially, as my Clarences, you have officially received your angel wings. Christmas tree every time you see it, you can think of me. Man, thank you for being here, and thank you for letting me share this moment with you. Okay? God bless you all. Well, tonight, I'm not going to preach or anything. I gave it all I had this morning, so I don't have a whole lot to say, other than to just simply say, tonight, I want you to look around. And in this room, we probably have over 400 people, although by 8 o'clock in the morning, it will be 4,000 or 5,000 people as I report to my friends. And I want to say this to you. And many of you go to other churches, and that's awesome, because I tell you, I'm free of that, because and I hope you'll understand the spirit in which I say this. You know, where I come from, I don't care what church you go to. I don't really care if you go to church. I want you to find the love and the grace of Jesus and learn what it's like to walk through life out of a broken heart. And when you do that, it changes absolutely everything in your life. And I really don't know how in the world can someone like me, in the world can I say thank you? 2 words that there's no way I can put the depth of feeling and what I really feel in my life, because you allow us to be part of your life. You allow many of you to come to your life during its darkest moments, during its greatest needs, and say, can you help me find the light? And one of the greatest joys of my life is to every day to wake up, and my job that day is to try to help and encourage people find new life out of a broken life. So can I just say, to all the people here tonight that took the time and the effort to be here, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I could scream it from the heavens a million times and it would not be enough. We are honored. We are honored to share life with you. And for you to take time to be here tonight, I just say thanks from this ragamuffin to some awesome, wonderful people. God bless you, and thank you for letting me be part of it.
Glad you remained standing because, where'd you go? Come here, brother. Red light on right there. See a red light? Push a button. That button. Just on the button. Really? Just red light on there? Red light's on. You got nothing? Red light's on. Mike, push my red light. Brother Doug can't figure it out. Hey, let me just say something real quick, okay? One, I've been told to tell all of you, if you brought a dish or a plate of some sort, it has been cleaned, and we would like for you to pick it up on your way out. One. Number two, thank you. He sent me a long email specifically saying, don't say stuff about me. But, brother, look around, man. It's been amazing to get to sit with this man every Wednesday morning. We don't accomplish much. I don't think we do a lot. But, and those of you who had the experience that I've had, who gets to sit with this man and discuss life with him, I think every person in here, and me, and everybody up here, we say thank you for being our pastor and for leading us in the life of grace. So thank you.
Let's rock. Hey, we need to rock now.
You want to rock?
We want to rock.
Let's rock then.